There comes a point in life when you stop recognizing the person in the mirror. You've given so much your heart, your loyalty, your energy to people who never saw your worth. You've explained, forgiven, and waited for them to change, but they never did. And one day, something inside you just snaps. You stop trying to be understood. You stop chasing after people who never cared if you stayed. You stop breaking yourself to keep others whole. That's the moment everything shifts, not because the world gets softer, but because you stop being so easy to break. I saw this happen to someone close to me. He used to be the kindest person I knew, always helping, always giving, always the one people turned to when their own world fell apart. But when he needed help, no one showed up. He lost everything he had built for others, and it destroyed him. Years later, I saw him again. But something about him had changed completely. He didn't talk as much. He didn't explain himself. There was no anger in his voice, just calm, quiet, strength. When I asked what happened, he said one line that stuck with me ever since. I stopped letting people earn my peace for free. That's when I understood his strength didn't come from becoming cold. It came from learning control. He didn't lose his heart. He just stopped handing it to people who didn't know how to hold it. This video is about becoming that version of you, the one who doesn't crumble when people disappoint you, the one who doesn't beg to be seen, heard, or loved, the one who doesn't waste time proving your worth to those who were never ready to value it. Philosopher Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't glorifying cruelty. He was teaching emotional self-defense. The truth is, people respect boundaries more than explanations. They listen to silence more than to endless reasoning. When you stop justifying yourself, something magical happens. You become unpredictable. People stop playing with your kindness because they don't know where your limits are anymore. You move differently. You speak less. And suddenly, they start paying attention. This video is about becoming that version of you, the one who doesn't crumble when people disappoint you, the one who doesn't beg to be seen, heard, or loved, the one who doesn't waste time proving your worth to those who were never ready to value it. Philosopher Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't glorifying cruelty. He was teaching emotional self-defense. The truth is, people respect boundaries more than explanations. They listen to silence more than to endless reasoning. When you stop justifying yourself, something magical happens. You become unpredictable. People stop playing with your kindness because they don't know where your limits are anymore. You move differently. You speak less. And suddenly, they start paying attention. There are 8 internal shifts that turn you from fragile to formidable, from being controlled to being in control. Each one burns away a layer of weakness you no longer need. The process hurts, but the version of you that emerges afterward is untouchable. And before we begin, I want you to drop this in the comments. 1. Stop giving your energy to the ungrateful. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that kindness will make others love them. But that's not how human nature works. What's freely given is rarely respected. When people know you'll always forgive, they stop being afraid to hurt you. You've probably had people in your life who drained you, who took your time, your help, your emotions, and gave you nothing but excuses in return. And yet, you stayed. Because deep down, you believed your loyalty would eventually change them. It never does. People don't value what they don't have to earn. It's not that they're evil, it's just human psychology. We all crave what feels rare. So when your forgiveness has no limit, your worth quietly disappears. Machiavelli understood this truth centuries ago when he wrote, "Men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared." What he meant was simple. If people believe you'll never leave, they stop fearing the loss of you. Every time you excuse betrayal, you teach people how to treat you. Every time you explain your worth, you prove you don't fully believe in it yourself. You're not being compassionate, you're training people to disrespect you. The ungrateful don't respond to kindness, they respond to consequence. They don't understand words like forgive or understand, they only recognize distance. When you finally step back and say nothing, that silence echoes louder than any lecture. Some people will call you cold. Let them. What they call cold is what healthy boundaries feel like to those who benefited from your lack of them. Indifference is not hate, it's emotional neutrality. It means their chaos no longer pulls you in. Their opinions no longer shape you. Their manipulation no longer works. The moment you stop reacting, you reclaim control. The people who once drained you lose power because your emotions were their weapon, and now you've disarmed them. Your energy is your leverage. Guard it. Give it to those who add to your peace, not those who steal it. So from today, promise yourself this: my kindness will no longer be a weakness. 2. Turn pain into power. Pain is the one teacher everyone fears, but no one can escape. It shows up when the lesson has been ignored too long. And while most people run from it, the strong ones look pain in the eye and say, "Teach me." Pain isn't here to destroy you, it's here to show you where you've been giving your strength away. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every failure, each one reveals where you trusted too much, hoped too soon, or settled too low. The broken use pain to complain. The powerful use pain to rebuild. The difference between the two isn't the amount of suffering, it's what they do with it afterward. Machiavelli said, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis." What he meant was that every painful event carries within it a chance to evolve if you're willing to see it differently. Pain is raw data. It exposes illusions. It burns away naivety. It reminds you who's real and who never was. And once you accept that, pain stops being punishment. It becomes a blueprint. The most dangerous people in the world are those who've survived everything meant to destroy them and learned from it. They don't just endure pain, they weaponize it. When life breaks them, they don't cry for sympathy. They build structure out of suffering. They study what went wrong. They adjust. They grow. They stop expecting life to be fair and start becoming strategic. Pain refines you. It cuts away everything fake, the people, the habits, the fears. The person that remains after the storm isn't fragile. They're focused, quiet, and sharp. That's the kind of strength Machiavelli called wisdom through misfortune. Once you've been burned and survived, fear loses its grip on you. The moment you stop fearing pain, the world loses its power to control you. You no longer panic when things fall apart, because you've seen what happens after, and you know you can rebuild stronger. The world respects those who remain calm under chaos. It's not about arrogance, it's about discipline. You stop reacting emotionally and start moving intelligently. So when pain comes again, and it will, don't drown in it. Study it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me about myself? Because buried inside every wound is a lesson that makes you more dangerous to anything that tries to hurt you again. From this point forward, let this be your mantra. My pain will not define me, it will refine me. And if you truly mean it, say it once more. My pain builds power. There's a kind of peace that comes when you finally stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to make people understand your heart, your choices, your silence. You realize the ones who want to understand already do, and the ones who don't never will. When you reach that level, your energy shifts. You stop chasing approval. You stop needing validation. You stop performing goodness to be accepted. And in that silence, you find your real power. Because the truth is, the moment you stop needing to be understood is the moment you become impossible to control. 3. Kill the need to be understood. One of the greatest emotional traps is trying to explain your intentions to people committed to misunderstanding you. You've spent hours defending your truth, hoping someone will finally see your heart. But all that explaining only leaves you drained, because some people don't listen to understand, they listen to twist. You don't owe anyone clarity at the cost of your peace. The people who love you don't need constant justification, and the ones who demand it will never believe it anyway. Machiavelli understood this perfectly when he said, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." What he meant is that people often use your honesty as an opportunity to manipulate. They feed on your transparency because it gives them power over you. The wise learn to speak less and observe more. The powerful keep their motives quiet. Silence becomes their armor. When you stop explaining, people are forced to guess. And when they guess, they fear being wrong. That uncertainty gives you control. You don't need to argue your value. You don't need to defend your boundaries. The ones meant for you will recognize your silence as strength, not pride. Every time you explain yourself to someone who refuses to see your truth, you drain your power. Keep your circles small, your heart guarded, and your plans private. Let your results speak for you. The moment you stop seeking understanding, you gain something greater: freedom. 4. Master emotional detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You stop letting emotions dictate your decisions. You still feel deeply, but you no longer act blindly. Emotional detachment is self-control disguised as calmness. It's the art of standing still while everyone else is reacting. It's knowing when to walk away, when to stay silent, and when to strike. Most people lose in life because they let emotions make their choices. Anger makes them speak too soon. Fear makes them quit too early. Love makes them ignore the red flags. Machiavelli said a ruler must learn how not to be good, meaning you must sometimes choose logic over empathy to protect your position. The same applies to life. If your emotions rule you, anyone who triggers them owns you. The moment you detach, manipulation stops working. Guilt, shame, attention, games, they all lose power. People can no longer control you through reaction because you've mastered response. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest, it's the one who doesn't flinch. When you reach this level, your presence alone unsettles people. They can't predict you anymore. That uncertainty makes them cautious. That's power. Practice silence when you want to argue. Walk away when you want to prove a point. Every time you control your emotions, you sharpen your authority. Emotional detachment doesn't make you heartless. It makes you wise. 5. Learn the power of silence. Silence is not weakness, it's precision. Every time you speak less, your words start to matter more. The world is full of noise, everyone wants to be heard, but few want to listen. That's why those who can stay silent have an aura of mystery that demands respect. People fear what they don't understand. When you speak less, they project more. They wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you know. That tension gives you leverage. Machiavelli wrote that a leader should appear merciful, faithful, humane, religious, upright, but never reveal everything. Because once people fully understand you, they can predict you, and once you're predictable, you're powerless. Your silence creates space for observation. You start noticing patterns, the tone of a lie, the small cracks in people's words, the hidden motives behind their actions. Silence turns you into a strategist. And the most dangerous person in the room is not the one who speaks first, but the one who speaks last. So say less, watch more, let others reveal themselves. Silence is your strongest language. 6. Build boundaries like armor. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. They don't shut people out, they teach people how to come in. You've spent too long apologizing for having limits, for saying no, for needing peace. But boundaries are not selfish, they're survival. Machiavelli said, He who builds on the people builds on mud. He meant that your foundation must be solid, not dependent on others' approval. Boundaries are that foundation. Without them, you become the victim of every emotional storm. With them, you decide who gets close, how much they take, and when to stop giving. The people who get angry when you set boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. Don't explain your limits, enforce them. When you say no and mean it, you teach others to treat your time and energy as valuable. Strong boundaries make weak people uncomfortable. Let them be. Your peace is not up for negotiation. 7. Move in silence. Strike with precision. You don't need to announce your every move. The quietest growth is often the most powerful. Every time you show your next step too early, you invite interference. Your goals don't need validation. They need execution. The world can't ruin what it doesn't know about. Machiavelli believed that surprise was one of the greatest weapons in strategy. When no one knows your plan, no one can stop it. So build quietly, evolve privately. Let your success make the noise. People remember impact, not intentions. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. True strength whispers, it doesn't shout. 8. Become your own source of validation. You'll never be free as long as you need someone else to tell you you're enough. Approval is a cage, and most people spend their lives decorating it. Validation must come from within, not from applause. The moment you start relying on others to confirm your worth, you hand them the power to take it away. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Stop waiting for permission to be who you are. Stop waiting for closure, recognition, or understanding. Move as if you already deserve everything you're working toward, because you do. When your self-worth becomes unshakable, rejection stops hurting. Criticism stops distracting. You stop shrinking to fit rooms you've already outgrown. That's when people start noticing you differently, not because you've changed who you are, but because you've stopped seeking their approval. And the truth is, nothing is more magnetic than someone who no longer needs to be liked. You see, becoming ruthless isn't about being cruel. It's about protecting your peace like it's sacred. It's about realizing that your softness has to be guarded, not given away. When you master these 8 inner shifts, when you stop giving freely to the ungrateful, turn pain into power, stop explaining yourself, detach emotionally, use silence, set boundaries, move strategically, and validate yourself, you stop surviving and start ruling your own life. The world doesn't reward those who are loud. It rewards those who are disciplined, aware, and untouchable. So from today, make this your new truth. I owe no one an explanation. My peace is mine to protect. My pain is my teacher. My silence is my weapon. And when people ask what happened to you, smile and say nothing happened. I just woke up.